I kind of like using non-formulaic approaches to what we do here as the football club. Some of that's born out of having a music and theatre background. Personally, I always like using different mediums and different approaches. We've looked at various different ways, how we design and use light boxes. We've already made 2 films relating to the football club, one of them an animated cartoon, and we staged a play about our most turbulent period in 2002. We had sold-out audiences for that. Our newest piece of artwork that we've added to the stadium, which is the Greatest Team. I knew this artist, he's really famous for Formula One, so motor racing artists generally, private commissions with the likes of Lewis Hamilton, etc. I just said, how do you fancy doing an original piece on the football team? What I want is the old Plough Lane dressing room, and as you go across the picture, it morphs into the new Plough Lane dressing room. The Greatest Team wasn't person-specific, it was meant to be a reflection of the club as a whole. We used the kits from 130 odd years of history. People are all different kits, the 2 Wombles are in there. If you look closely, there's various nods to things in the past, like there's a sports bag with Crazy Gang on the side. But it is really just a reflection of the whole club history, and we do believe it's a great story, so we thought we'd have the Greatest Team as well. We decided to make a cartoon that represents the whole club's history. This cartoonist, who specialises in sports, often has his stuff on display at his local marketplace. He agreed to take it on. We negotiated a non-Premiership club deal on the price. Every time I look at it, I'm still seeing new things because it's not done in any particular formulaic order. It's just a hodgepodge of history and events and sayings. My favourite part of the cartoon, Dickie Guy, and that famous save he made from Hotshot Peter Lorimer at Leeds in 1975. We went to supporters and said, what is the most iconic image between the 2 grounds? And they said, well, the Womble Till I Die gates. And that was chosen by the fans. The old Plough Lane Stadium had these 2 blue gates, and after we'd moved out to Selhurst Park, somebody scrawled Womble Till I Die, graffitied those 2 gates, and it became an iconic image of our struggle, to bring the club back home to Merton, really, and that we wouldn't lay down and we wouldn't die. The first piece we did was the Wombles mosaic. We did a crowdfunding, 5,000 images are on that. Supporters, other clubs, ex-managers, ex-players. You can see all the families and all the people that donated it. And then we went a step further by saying, well, we know where the gates are, and maybe we should bring them back. What we'd forgotten about was that in the interim period, somebody had painted over the graffiti. As historians, we kind of like things as they were. So we painstakingly, with a lot of elbow grease and rubbing and water, removed the paint that was on top of the graffiti. So what you see up there now is the original graffiti, untouched. There was a group of people who wanted to crowdfund for a bench for the Wombles on Wimbledon Common. However, the common conservators, in their wisdom or not, decided it wasn't a good idea at all. But I became aware that they'd turned it down, and my first thought was, well, if the common doesn't want it, I do. I was trying to think about Wombles being reuse, recycle. So first off, I got in touch with the only professional female wood carver in the country and said, could you do this? And she said yes, and then it was about finding the wood. So it was a 2-ton oak that had fallen. We thought Orinoco was probably one of the most iconic with Uncle Bulgaria, but Orinoco, the Elizabeth Beresford, that was about her son. So all of the different Wombles are a reflection of the characteristics of her children. And he's still a season ticket holder, so we thought Orinoco's the Womble to go for on the bench. And we had to get special permission because Orinoco always has a red scarf, and we thought he should wear a yellow and blue one. She took a chainsaw to it initially, and then some very fine chisel work. The piece of work she did on the bench was absolutely amazing. She still had half a tree left, and we'd always wanted to do the two winning captains, Roy Law in '63 and Dave Besant in '88, to signify that we are the only club to have won both the amateur and the professional FA Cups. We challenged her again and said, look, we'd really like these two cup winning captains back to back. Can we use the other half of the tree for that? Interestingly, after she'd carved them, we had to transport them down on the back of an open truck. And I think they caused quite a backlog on the M1 coming down from Yorkshire by people slowing down because there was a womble and a football statue. Obviously, being a natural product, it will require more maintenance. There is some gaps appearing. You know, they're open to the elements. So once a year, we get the woodcarver herself. She comes down, she fills any cracks, she pins things, and then she repaints them. And that's our ongoing commitment to using those natural products.